What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Robski coming in, and right now, as you can see, I got my NFL gear, which means it's that time of year. This segment, I'm just going to do my review of NFL 21 and 22. Now, guys, for these of you that know me, you understand that I just can't help it, okay? I know with all the political correctness and wokeness and all this stuff, win, lose, or draw. I mean, I was listening to CBS Sports Talk Radio today, and it was all about football. It was all about moves. I've said this before. The NFL is a very dynamic league, and I'm going to give them a chance this year, okay? But again, once the wokeness comes back, like I said, I was going to ban it forever, but it seems like that we've kind of gone past the wokeness for a little bit, even though it's still a little bit there. Depending on how bad it is, I'll see. But I'm going to throw in my 2 cents on the upcoming 2021-2022 NFL season. And the reason why is it's been one of the best off seasons. It's like I said, it really is too bad that they let the cancer of politics into this product, because it's been a fabulous off season. It's been lots of dynamic moves, lots of storylines within storylines, a couple things getting overlooked. In my opinion, players getting overlooked, and the dynamic leagues have changed. Okay, the dynamics of leagues have changed. I tell you what, Tom Brady going to the Tampa Bay has been beautiful for the league because it's made it a lot more interesting on things. Okay, so without further ado, based on just kind of my ranting, I actually took notes, as you can see here, and again, they're not the greatest notes. They're kind of sloppy, but that gets the job done. So I am going to go through who I have in each division and why, okay? And again, this might sound crazy to you. Most likely it's not going to be. It's like filling out an NCAA bracket. It's not going to be correct. But I'll explain to you why the logic I chose these teams and to see, okay? So first, without further ado, I'm going to review the AFC East, okay? And as you can see here, the teams I have finishing first, I have Buffalo at number 1. I have New England at number 2. I have Miami at number 3. And I have New York Jets in the cellar, okay? Now this division is usually the AFC the East was the weak division in the AFC. I'm actually saying this is one of the stronger divisions and one of the more competitive divisions in the AFC this year, because they have 3 teams that are going to be competitive, in my opinion, okay? And here's why. So first of all, Buffalo. This roster is arguably the best roster in the AFC. Now, I know, like I said, Kansas City should get the nod, and they should, but we're talking top to bottom. We're talking defense. We're talking special teams, secondary. They have a lot of players, okay? So really, Buffalo's X factor, and this is going to be a very common theme, guys, their X factor is Josh Allen. Josh Allen is going to make or break the season. If he can stay healthy and play again, these guys are a Super Bowl contender, bottom line. Josh Allen took a step forward last year, and he's just going to get better. He has all the physical tools. People talk about Patrick Mahomes' freakish athletic ability. Josh Allen is a freak athlete. I've seen him here in Boise. The guy has an arm, but the guy's arm can rival Mahomes. His athleticism can rival Mahomes. He's bigger. I'm not going to say he's stronger because Mahomes is a beast, but Josh Allen is right up there with the elite. He proved it last year, okay? I have New England at number 2, and here's why, okay? So I got sold on this bill of goods listening to CBS Sports Radio, and that's because, I think that Belichick is going to kind of find things. New England always is usually ahead of the curve. Now, New England, again, it goes to the quarterback position. They don't know what they have at quarterback. But to be honest with you, I don't care if it's Mac Jones or Newton. I still think they're going to win games, and I still think that this year they're going to find a way to be competitive. I'm not saying they're going to be first. In fact, New England, Miami could flip flop. So New England could finish third and Miami could finish second, but that's going to be a win for either organization because, again, to me, this is one of the better divisions this year, which is very surprising. So the reason why I gave New England the advantage over Miami has to do with Bill Belichick and just the culture of New England Patriot football. The culture is better than Miami's. Miami has a losing culture historically. New England has a winning culture historically. New England is the greatest NFL, the greatest football franchise ever. And the reason why I'm going to say that, because they have the most Super Bowl appearances and the most Super Bowl wins. Tom Brady or no, New England knows how to win games, okay? Miami, finishing number 3rd, but it's going to be like an 11-6. Miami is a good football team. They finally got the head coach right. They got a great roster. And again, you're going to see a lot of these themes of great roster. We're not quite sure we see out of quarterbacks, okay? Tua Tagovailoa, one of the best, one of the most funnest. I absolutely loved watching Tua. He has a beautiful left-handed stroke. I loved watching him in college, but again, this is the NFL, and Tua is one of many quarterbacks I'm going to go through this kind of a make or break here. We're going to kind of see how Tua does and what he's going to do. But overall, Miami has one of the best rosters in the NFL. They are going to be very competitive. They're no matter if they finish first, third, or second, they're still going to be a very competitive success story this year. New York Jets, I think, are absolutely trash. I'm just going to say it right now. I think I think they let go of Darnold too early, and I think that they're putting too much eggs in their basket with this Tyler Wilson guy. Regardless if he's got talent, this is the NFL, son, and I think that he's been overhyped. Again, I think they left on Darnold early. The New York Jets haven't had, I hate to say it, but when they had Rex Ryan, they kind of at least had a direction, identity. I mean, Mark Sanchez, and they got to the playoffs doing that. They had Darrelle Revis, To be honest with you, when they got Tebow and they started doing that, that's when they started going downhill. That's when they made decisions based on feelings, not facts, okay? Which is a theme in everyday life. I have the New York Jets finishing last. Bad culture, no players. It's just the Le'Veon Bell thing didn't work out. I think they're giving up on their franchise guy, Darnold, way too early. I think Darnold's actually going to win in this deal. I think the Jets are going to lose. Okay. Now, again, this should be the Central, but I'll skip the South. Okay, the South. This is who I have finishing. And again, you might laugh at me. You might be laughing at me at the end of the season, but I'll tell you why I picked the way I did. I have Jacksonville, Tennessee, Colts, and Houston, okay? Jacksonville at number 1. This is going to be my sleeper pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are loaded with talent. They are loaded, okay? The Jacksonville Jaguars have a great roster, okay? Now, in this combination, there are 2 key factors. And it's not Tim Tebow. It's Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence, okay? Urban Meyer, we're going to see if he's got NFL coaching material. Trevor Lawrence, we're going to see if he's first round, which I tell you what, according to everything everyone heard, Miles Jack, a great player for them, said that Trevor Lawrence is the real deal. Okay, I've always been high on Trevor Lawrence. I think he's an amazing quarterback talent. We're just going to see if they put it here. So the reason why I picked Jacksonville number 1 over Tennessee is because I'm going to kind of mix it up. I'm like, okay, this is our do or die team. This is going to be a make or break pick. It's going to be, okay, I went with my gut and they won. But if they didn't win, well, I swung for the fences. Okay, so I got Jacksonville at number 1 because they actually have been kind of underhyped. I thought Jacksonville should have been the Hard Knocks team, and they weren't. They picked Dallas, but I think Jacksonville has a lot more interesting, dynamic storylines, elements going on, ETN, lots of things going on with Jacksonville. Okay, number 2. good old boring Tennessee Titans, led by Tannehill and the beast known as Derrick Henry. Okay, now Tennessee has kind of developed a good identity. They're physical. They're a great. They got Vrabel, who's been in the league. He's a good head coach. He's not like a Belichickian guy. He's more like a Dan Campbell guy. He's a player. He's a man's man. He's a player's coach. He thinks he understands, and usually I like coaches to be more factual and less emotional. But Vrabel makes it work in Tennessee. They developed a pretty good culture in the last couple of years. I don't know, Tannehill's played very well, and he's kind of had a resurgence. Again, Derrick Henry is a great player. Derrick Henry is one of the few running backs that actually has factors in winning games. If I were to draft a fantasy player, Derrick Henry will be responsible more than the average running back on winning. I mean, the guy is an absolute baller. He's an amazing player. But again, I think that Trevor Lawrence has more upside than Tannehill. And I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be coming ready to play because he played at a big school called Clemson that trains NFL guys. So that's why I got Jacksonville number 1. But Tennessee has enough firepower to take that number 1 spot. I got them at number 2 just because I'm kind of going with my gut on this one and picking Jacksonville. But Tennessee's a solid number 2. Colts would be number 1, but Wentz is having issues again. He's injury prone. And again, Colts have a great roster too. But I think that Jacksonville and Tennessee have more upside than the Colts. I'm picking Colts at number 3. And then the cellar dweller, the Houston Texans, who we don't know what the hell they're doing. They have a very poor identity. They don't have any star players anymore. Watson wants out or is going out. We don't know what J.J. Watt, their franchise player ever, he's out. What are you doing, Houston? Really? Like what's the whole deal with Deshaun Watson? What's going on there? They made some terrible moves. They made terrible moves getting rid of Hopkins. Houston is they're freaking terrible. They're a terrible run organization, and they're going to be finishing in last place. And if not, they might get 3rd, but they're not going to do anything other than that. Okay, Central's another tough one. Okay, this is what I got in Central. I got Baltimore, Cleveland, Bengals, Pittsburgh. Okay, I wanted to choose Cleveland. I actually like Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's an interesting story. He's an underdog. He's a grinder. He's a bulldog. But the reason why I chose Baltimore has to do with John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh has been in the league for years. He's part of the Harbaugh family, which they're not the Manning family, but they're pretty darn close. Harbaugh's a great coach. Both of them are great coaches. I don't care if you think Jim Harbaugh's overrated. He makes programs better overnight. I will never forget what Jim Harbaugh did for the 49ers and for Michigan football for the first 2 years. So I got Baltimore number 1 because of John Harbaugh. I think is X factor. Lamar Jackson can play. Okay. I went against Lamar Jackson at first because I thought he was going to be, another one of these kind of read option guys, and the guy's legit. The guy has a good stroke, and he wins football games. He's a dynamite player. He's legit. But I think that John Harbaugh knows how to use him to the best of his ability. Let's just say that. And I know that roster, Baltimore, is looking absolutely. I mean, it's a good roster. They got great defensive players. They got players on that team. And again, Lamar Jackson has surprised me. He's a great player. I think that he's had success, and we'll see what we got in him in year 3. So that's why I got Baltimore number 1. Another thing too is Baltimore football has a winning culture. They've been rivaled the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're a great franchise. Number 2, I got Cleveland. Cleveland is kind of developing identity. Cleveland has, Miles Jack and the running backs, Chubb and all those guys. They got great receiving cores. Baker's a legit player. But again, I just think that Baltimore has a better winning culture. And I think Baltimore can rival them with the firepower. So I don't see Cleveland. That's why I gave the nod to Baltimore. I like Baltimore's head coach a lot better than Cleveland's head coach. Like I said, I don't want to take anything away from Baker Mayfield. Guy's a bulldog. The guy's a grinder. But I got Cleveland at number 2. They could easily be a number 1 though, obviously. Number 3, Cincinnati Bengals. They take a step forward. Joe Burrow is a legit player. He's got legit skills. He is an NFL quarterback. He makes NFL reads and NFL throws. Couple of years, the Bengals will take either Cleveland or Baltimore out, in my prediction. That franchise goes through Burrow. Burrow just needs to stay healthy. That's the theme, though. A lot of these guys need to stay healthy. And then, one of the best football franchises ever, the mighty Pittsburgh Steelers are a cellar dweller this year. This is Roethlisberger's way out. He's got at best 2 years. Deep down inside, I think Roethlisberger's lost an edge. He's losing weight, which is great. He's in his late 30s. He's not the same guy anymore. Eventually, I think he's going to take his money right off in the sunset, enjoy his 40s with his money and his Super Bowl rings and his Hall of Famers. I'm not ripping on Ben Roethlisberger. He's been one of the most underappreciated quarterbacks of all time because he, in his prime, was surrounded by a bunch of legends. Ben Roethlisberger is a first ballot Hall of Famer, but his time has definitely passed. It's time for him to ride off in the sunset, keep losing weight, big guy. We'll have a beer on you, but your time's out. Pittsburgh is in rebuild mode. They don't have any players or weakened quarterback this year. They just don't have any guys. They don't have that Le'Veon Bell. They don't have any star power. Their stars are on defense with TJ Watt. A couple other guys. Like I said, there's a lot of other guys that deserve credit for all these